All right, welcome back. So, let us get back to the uh, need for the three-phase power system. In fact, last class I described to you uh, the the three-phase generator construction in quite a bit of detail, but I could not complete the need for or uh, the three-phase power system that well. So I think we'll do that part of it today. So let me start with the recap that in a single phase system, let's say this is the reference voltage and the load is drawing a current which is lagging at a power factor phi, and then we calculate the instantaneous power which is the product of the instantaneous voltage and current, and that will have a product term of cos omega t and cos omega t minus phi. And when we expand it, that is, we write 2 cos c cos d as cos of a plus b plus cos of a minus b, then the instantaneous power turns out to be Vrms Irms into cos of phi plus cos of 2 omega t minus phi. So therefore, what we have got is a TC or a average value, a constant value of Vrms cos phi, over which a zero mean double frequency component that is at the frequency 2 omega is superimposed with a peak amplitude of, what is the peak amplitude of this? It is 2, it is Vrms Irms. So in fact, this amplitude is though not drawn in the figure properly. Vrms Irms cos phi in magnitude is always less than Vrms Irms. So significant amount of oscillation is going to happen with this such a instantaneous power. Now, as I mentioned last time also, this pulsating instantaneous power is not a double frequency pulsating oscillation power is not a good thing. Suppose you are driving a motor which requires a constant torque, then it means the speed will pulsating because the power is equal to torque times of speed, and then pulsating speed is not something that would be desired for many applications. For example, a traction application, and you are climbing up the hill and you need certain amount of torque to compensate for the gravity, and then the power is speed is pulsating. So you have one example. Or if you say that the speed is kept constant, then the torque will become pulsating. So think of a generator where the where the in the steady state of the operation, the mechanical input power has to be equal to electrical output power, for example. And then if that is the case and you are having a pulsating single phase power, then there will be a pulsating mechanical input may be required, and then that kind of a thing also is not uh, this thing possible. So if the speed is constant, then the torque oscillates, and that is also not done. Hence, we need to devise something in which we have a constant instantaneous power. And the engineering solution to that is to go for multi-phase systems, which could be two-phase, three-phase, or four-phase, or five, six, whatever. So, but as I mentioned in my last class, that the two-phase system will not give you a good utilization of the geometry of a generator. So therefore, we go for the next available alternative is three-phase systems, where the windings on the stator are 120 degrees apart. So whatever is the induced EMF that is seen in the phase A, the same is seen in the phase B with a uh, uh, in the phase B with a lag of 120 degrees, and then subsequently in the phase C with a further lag of 120 degrees or a lead of 240 degrees. So if you draw these phasors, they look like this, if this is my reference voltage, say VA, then this will be VB, and this will be VC. These are all unequal in magnitude and separated by 120 degrees. Now, if I have a three-phase generator, and this is called a delta connection, sorry, star connection of a generator, Y or star connection of a generator. This one common point I am grounding, so as to this is the polarity convention, and usually I draw it such that this seems to lag, or while drawing also this seems to lag in space by 120 degrees, and this seems to lag drawing in space by another 120 degrees from VB, so that so as to visually give an impression that this is a balanced three-phase system. And let's say that I connect it to a three-phase load, which is an impedance Z, which also I am connecting in star. Later on I will discuss delta connection also, but right now I am discussing a star connection. So I have connected this in delta. For the sake of safety and other reasons, I'm grounding both the sides. This shows they are grounded. So this kind of a system, so in this kind of a system, this will be called a balanced system. Why is it called a balanced system? Because the source voltages are balanced, and the loads, the three-phase loads which are connected to them, they are also balanced. So it is easy to see that if this current is IA, this current is IB, this current is IC, then the three currents will also be IA, IB, IC, and they will also be lagging. If this impedance has a angle of uh, some phi, then these currents will also be lagging the corresponding voltages by an angle of phi, and so IA will be equal to VA by Z, where VA is actually the voltage from 0 to this point. So VA by Z. IB will be VB by Z, and IC will be VC by Z. So, and if you sum IA plus, in this case, the three phasors being balanced, a vector sum of them being an equilateral triangle, they sum to 0. So therefore, IA plus IB plus IC will be 0, which means that no current goes in here and no current comes back from the earth return. Otherwise, uh, zero potential means typically you can think of it as earth, which is to which we add any small amount of charge or subtract a small amount of charge from there. No change in voltage happens, so it's treated as a reference voltage for our calculations, and that is the uh, that is the uh, zero potential. The reference potential is taken to be zero, and all voltages are measured through that. Alternately, you could also have a neutral wire connecting these two points. Then in that case we don't mark it as G and G. In that case we will mark it as this neutral is N1, this neutral is N2, and then the wire can have a neutral resistance or impedance, or if we neglect it, then Vn1 is equal to Vn2. But ideally, once you connect a wire, it will have some resistance across the wire will have its own resistance. But for a balanced system, it doesn't matter because this Ia plus Ib plus Ic is 0. So whether it's a ground return or whether there is a wire connecting the two grounds, no current is going to flow through this wire. And the argument that these three currents are going to be equal but in magnitude but shifted by 120 degrees comes from the argument of symmetry. You can put any algebra to it and check that it works out. For example, if you do KVL around, there are only two things that you need to do. You need to check for KCL, you need to check for KVL with the Ohm's law describing the voltage across the elements as V equal to Iz. So if you do this, I leave it to you to check that if you apply KVL across this, you would find that the KVL with these definitions of my currents is valid. If you apply KVL across this, you should see that KVL across this is also satisfied. And if these two loops KVL is satisfied, then the outer loop also the KVL will be satisfied. So all the three loops will have KVL satisfied. So for a three-phase system like this, then I have VA cos omega t, then IA instantaneous value of the current becomes IM Vm cos omega t, and then the instantaneous value of the current Im becomes Im cos of omega t minus phi. Then this becomes Vm cos of omega t minus 2 pi by 3. Then this becomes Im cos of omega t minus phi minus 2 pi by 3. And then this becomes Vm cos of omega t plus 2 pi by 3, and this will become the current will now become Im cos of omega t minus 5 plus of 2 pi by 3 radians, or you can also write it as minus of 4 pi by 3 also, no problem. So now with this, if I calculate the instantaneous power, then that instantaneous power is going to be Vm by Vm into cos of omega t minus phi, that's the first term. Then Vbib, that will amount to Vmim into cos of omega t minus 2 pi by 3 minus cos of omega t minus phi minus 2 pi by 3, and then plus Vcic. So again Vmim will be taken as common, cos of omega t plus 2 pi by 3 into cos of omega t minus phi plus 2 pi by 3, which is this. I am sorry, there should have been, I have written Vm by 2, so there should be a 2 factor which is coming here, and this 2 factor, or I can write this 2 factor as inside of each of them, so that I can use the cos A cos B formula for splitting this as a linear summation of two terms. When I do that, cos of A plus B becomes cos of 2 omega t minus phi, cos of A minus B becomes cos of phi. Then you will have cos of 2 omega t minus phi minus 4 pi by 3, but minus 4 pi by 3 means this is minus 2 pi by 3, this is minus 4 pi by 3, as good as taking plus 2 pi by 3. So therefore I have written it as plus 2 pi by 3, and then again cos of A minus B will take away this cos of omega t plus 2 pi by 3 and cos of omega t plus 2 pi by 3, leaving you a term cos phi, and when you add it, then it is cos of 2 omega t minus phi plus of 4 pi by 3 So plus 2 pi by 3, another, no, I'm sorry, plus 2 pi by 3, another plus 2 pi by 3, which is same as minus of 2. Plus 4 pi by 3 is same as minus of 2 pi by 3. Now if you sum it all together, this represents, let's first assume that the phi is 0. So these three terms will give you 3 cos phi. So that will give you a term 3 Vrms Irms cos phi. Now what I want to show to you is that this particular term is going to be 0. So first of all, let me just take this phi to be 0. So assume that phi is 0. Then now I am going to draw these sinusoids again. I am going to draw these sinusoids again as phasors, but these phasors are now at double frequency. They are not at single frequency, they are at double frequency. You can do phasor analysis with one frequency all through, but you cannot do phasor analysis by mixing phasors at all. So then this will become this term will have amplitude of Vrms into Irms, because Vm by 2 can be written as Vrms Irms. So this amplitude is going to be Vrms Irms, this phasor. Then this phasor will be at an again of same amplitude but plus 2 pi by 3, and this is of same amplitude but lagging at minus 2 pi by 3. So if you add these, vectorically sum these three equal phasors, then first phasor, second phasor, third phasor returns back in the equilateral triangle to the original point, telling you that the vectorial addition of the three balanced phasors like this is going to be 0. So if the phasor sum is 0, then the instantaneous sum will also be 0 at all points of time, and therefore P3 phase becomes equal to 3 Vrms Irms cos phi, which is a constant value. So now the instantaneous power has become constant, and that is the beauty of a balanced three-phase system. But please understand that with unbalanced this will not work. If it is unbalanced, then there always, you can think of it, then there will always be a this term will not sum to 0. Even if one of them is unbalanced either in the phase angle or in the either in the phase angle or in the magnitude, you or both, then this equilateral triangle will not close, so there will remain a balanced double frequency component and you will have a pulsating problem issues coming into place. Therefore, electrical utilities take a lot of care to develop a balanced three-phase system. In our homes, each and every load cannot be balanced. Some of the loads are single phase loads, some of the loads are three phase loads. Inherently, three phase loads are balanced, but single phase loads are not balanced. So, what is done is that utilities carefully, by choosing some rule, make sure that on each phase, when they aggregate it at the distribution system level and transmission system level, by the time the aggregation happens, the each of the phases has become almost balanced, and therefore the generators which are connected behind the transmission system, so to say, see a very balanced loading condition and therefore don't face the problems of pulsating power. All right. Now just one small thing. Here I said to begin with assume that phi is 0. If and then I showed that this vector summation is going to be 0. If the phi is not 0, for example, if this is 30-degree lag, so minus phi I have shown. So suppose phi is some 30-degree lag. Then what will happen is this phasor will have to be rotated by 30 degrees here. This will have to be rotated by another 30 degrees. This will have to be rotated by another 30 degrees. Then it's like saying that this whole picture is just rotated in the clockwise direction by an angle phi. And if I just rotate this whole picture by by an angle phi in the clockwise direction, since it is vectorically summing to 0, the rotated thing also is the same equilateral triangle rotated by angle phi, which still sums to 0. So you are initially had a equilateral triangle which sums to 0. Now this whole triangle has just rotated by some 5 degrees, but it still remains a equilateral triangle. So therefore, this phi is really not a worry for us. So the instantaneous power becomes constant. This three-phase instantaneous power in a balanced system is constant, and that is the primary motivation for going for a three-phase system. Now, the balanced three-phase sources or loads can be connected in either star connection or delta connection. So I have already shown you the Y connection or the star connection. Now the terminals, if a generator is, for example, connected like this, and outside you are given these three terminals and a neutral terminal which you have grounded. So then, or you may not have grounded, but grounding is usually advisable for safety reasons. We are standing at zero potential. If the surface of the machine is also at zero potential, by chance we touch it, will not get any shock. Otherwise, if it is ungrounded, then sometimes some induced voltages due to electromagnetic conduction may bring something on it, and then we touch it, we are at that potential, and then that creates a problem. So directive first touch will not cause a current to flow, but if there is any other place from which it is grounded, then there will be a loop closing and we may get a shock. So safety requires that we usually do grounding. All right. So in that case, the question arises, what are these line voltages? Because as I connected the load also in my previous figure, so I connected the load also. So this load was connected here. So what happened is that this is a this kind of a system is a star source, star load connected with each other. So the load points across them can see a line to line voltage, or it could be a motor. It could be a motor. It need not be just a impedance load. How do many impedance loads do you really see in your house, for example? You don't see, right? You see loads either as electronic devices, uh, or you see loads as motors, like in a refrigerator or air conditioner, for example, or you see it in computers and so on and so forth. There also, those are electronic loads. Uh, so the point is that we show it as star and delta impedances most of the time. Those are equivalent impedances that we are talking about. Anyway, now the question is, what are these line to line voltages? and and what are the line currents? The currents which are flowing out of these generators are called phase voltages. This phase is the A phase voltage. This voltage is the B phase voltage, and this voltage is the C phase voltage. So now let's calculate. We can define three line voltages: VAB, which is VA minus VB; VBC phase voltage, which line voltage, which is VB minus VC phase voltages; and VCA phase voltage, which is VC minus VA phase VCA line voltage, which is VC minus VA phase voltage. So let's do this thing now. The VA is taken in our case as a reference phasor, so I have drawn the VA here. VB is 120 degree apart, so written as e to the power uh, minus j is missing, minus j 2 pi by 3, and Vc is V times e to the power j 2 pi by 3. So I have drawn Va here, Vb here, and Vc here. Okay. Now, if I take Va minus Vb, okay, then it is equivalent to saying that Vb plus Vab is equal to Va, is it not? So if this is Vb plus VAB is equal to VA. So that means what is VAB? VAB is a phasor with the tip on VA and the the bottom of it, uh, the starting point of the phasor on VB. So VAB, I put the arrowhead on A and the starting on VB. So similarly then VCA will be a phasor with the arrowhead on C and the starting point on A, and VBC will be a phasor with the arrowhead on B and I'm sorry, and the starting point on C. So from this geometry that I have drawn, it is very clear that because these are magnitude wise equals and angles are 120 degrees, so this is going to be a equilateral triangle. This is going to be a equilateral triangle, and if you uh, drop this thing here perpendicular here, for example, and calculate the length of this, then you will get uh, this angle being 30 degrees. You will get root 3 by 2 times VA as half of this length, which you multiply by 2 for another half of it, and you will get the length as V3. And this angle is going to be 30 degrees. So it's a very simple geometry. So I leave it to you to check this simple geometry, and you will essentially therefore see that this phasor VBC lags by minus 90 degrees. The It has an angle of minus 90 degrees. VAB leads VA by plus 30 degrees, and VCA has a angle of so this is 30 degrees, so therefore this will be 150 degrees. So 150 degrees, I am sorry, for VAB this is the 30-degree angle that I was talking of, pi by 6. So it is each of the line voltages in a star connected balanced star connected system are having a, a are having a line voltage which is root 3 times of the phase voltage, and they equivalently having some phase shift which amounts to a rotation of 30 uh, uh, which amounts to a rotation of 30 degrees from their respective phase voltages. Like from VAB is 30 degrees ahead. With respect to VCA is another 30 degrees ahead. So this is 120 degrees and this one is 150 degrees, and VBC is minus 120 degree plus 30 degree, which is minus 90 degrees. Now, what about the line current and the phase current? This is the phase of the generator. So this is the phase current. This connects. This is called the line. So this is the line current, and the line current and the phase current are one and the same. So for a star connected system, we get that VLL is equal to root 3 V phase and IL is equal to I phase. And so what we can say is that the P power on average power of it, which or even the instantaneous power, which is same as the average power for a three phase system, is 3 VA cos IA cos phi, and by taking root 3 VA as the line voltage and the phase current and the line current to be the same, I get this 3 is written as root 3 into root 3, then root 3 times of VA is written as VL, IA is written as IL, and so the three phase instantaneous power or the average power, both of it being same, is written as root 3 VL IL cos phi watts. Now, what is the notion of reactive power in the three phase system? The instantaneous power is of course constant, but since each phase, that is only a consequence of aggregation, But since each phase has had its own reactive power, then to keep our algebra simple and scalable, we define the three-phase reactive power here as 3 VA IA sin phi or root 3 VL IL, uh, or same calculation, root 3 VL IL sin phi, units now being volt amperes reactive. While what is the unit of the active power? It's watts. Okay. Now, the other alternate connection is called the delta connection. So, you could have the three phases VA, VB and VC connected in delta, and let's say each of these sources actually will have some impedance which I have shown as Z, Z and Z. That's the, like when I showed you the three phase windings on the generator in the last class, then each of them will have some resistance and some leakage, or there is actually something called an armature reaction and an impedance which is associated with that. But all of them, because the three phases are identical in construction, only in space they are 120 degrees apart, so therefore the three impedances will turn out to be the same value. So therefore you will get this VA, VB, VC when you connect like a delta connection, and then you would, because now there is a delta connection, you have to look at what's the circulating current which is taking place there. Then that is going to be the vector sum of the voltages VA, VB, VC divided by 3 times of Z, and that will turn out to be 0. Why? Because we balance set of three phase balance set of phasors will sum to 0. So therefore VA plus VC is an equilateral triangle which sums to 0, and therefore this there is no circulating current. So there is no harm in connecting windings of a generator either in star connection or in delta connection. The advantage of doing star connection is that you get a boost in the voltage of root 3 times. The advantage, while on the other hand, with the delta connection, the line voltage, which is the voltage across this, is same as the phase voltage. So the respective phase voltage and the line voltage, like voltage across this and this, is exactly the voltage across this. The line and the phase voltage are same. However, if the delta connection is not balanced, then there will be a circulating current, which means that there is an unnecessary loss which is taking place there, which is not a good thing. Not only loss, because current will circulate, then it will create not only loss but also necessary voltage drops also can happen. So uh, now we have seen that the for a delta load, the phase and the line voltage are same. What about the line current? In fact, this system is like a dual of the other system. So it so 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 in this particular case, you would actually find that uh, the phase voltage, the line current here is going to be the root 3 times, line current is going to be root 3 times the phase current. So let me show you that. This time, instead of doing it from geometry, I am going to do it from algebra. I am going to do it from algebra. So what I am going to do is, uh, I write IAB as IA minus IB, and I take, to begin with, IA, let's say, as the reference current. Afterwards you can always rotate everything by 5 degrees by the same trick, no problem. So then it is can be written as some I scalar into 1 plus j0 minus IB, which is lagging IA by 120 degrees. This current is the phase winding current IB, which in a balanced system will be lagging the current by 120 degrees. So therefore it will be cos of 120 degrees, which is minus half, minus of plus of sine of plus j times of sine of 120 degrees, which is minus j root 3 by 2, which will turn out to be I of 3 by 2 plus j times of root 3 by 2. So again I can take the root 3 common out in this, and I get the root 3i into root 3 by 2 plus j times of half, which is root 3i into e to the power 60, 30, which is polar coordinates, the magnitude is root 3i and the angle becomes 30 degrees. Similarly, you can repeat the calculation for IB and IC, and now you see that the line current has become root 3 times, and the same shift of rotation of phase angles are you are getting of 30 degrees up respectively. So again, so only thing is voltage, line voltage and phase voltage is same, but the line current being root 3 times the phase current. Again, the formula for the three phase power turns out to be same, which is root 3 VL cos phi, and therefore Q will be taken as root 3 VL sin phi wars. The unit of power is watts and the unit of Q is volt ampere reactive. So the three phase power formulas in that sense don't change. With this, we will stop this lecture here. Thank you.